Good evening and welcome to the Channel Studios here in London with your international news around the world in 5. Queues have sprung up along Russia's border as men attempt to leave the country amid a military call-up for the war in Ukraine. Mobile phone footage showed a large number of cars queuing to cross from Russia into Georgia on the day Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a partial mobilization in Russia. Traffic had also been seen surging at border crossings with Finland, with prices for air tickets from Moscow rocketing. One Russian man arriving at Istanbul airport said he had left partly over the Kremlin's decision.
So, partial mobilization is one of the reasons why I'm here. Very poor step, and seems to be that it can lead to lots of problems to lots of Russian citizens. I didn't believe that the next step will be a mobilization, and I feel that not really lots of Russian people want to fight and want to be mobilized and want to go to the army.
It comes as more than 1,000 people were detained across Russia at protests against the mobilization announcement. Demonstrations were shut down by police in Moscow and St. Petersburg and dozens of other cities across the country. President Vladimir Putin announced a partial military mobilization on Wednesday, which could see 300,000 people summoned to serve in the war. Meanwhile, Ukraine and Russia carried out an unexpected prisoner swap, the largest since the war began, involving almost 300 people, including 10 foreigners, and the commanders who led a prolonged Ukrainian defense of Mariupol earlier this year. President Volodymyr Zelensky said the swap, which involved help from Turkey and Saudi Arabia, had been under preparation for quite a long time and involved intense haggling. Under the terms of the deal, 215 Ukrainians, most of whom were captured after the fall of Mariupol, were released. In exchange, Ukraine returned 55 Russians and pro-Moscow Ukrainians, along with Viktor Medvedchuk, the leader of a banned pro-Russian party who was facing treason charges. Iran has staged a show of its military might in an annual parade commemorating the 1980 to 1988 Iran-Iraq War. The parade in Tehran saw thousands of troops marching and featured trucks bearing missiles, tanks, and a large sign reading "Down with USA" amid flames engulfing the US flag and the Statue of Liberty. A new surface-to-surface long-range missile named Rezvan was reportedly among the weapons on display. State media says the Rezvan is capable of hitting targets some 1,400 kilometers away. The parade marked the 42nd anniversary of Iran's invasion by its neighbor Iraq. Iraqi forces under Saddam Hussein attacked Iran on September the 22nd, 1980, in the wake of Iran's revolution the year before. The invasion started a prolonged conflict, which would last until 1988. A short-sighted Chinese worker who tended to his injured colleagues following a deadly earthquake and then got lost in the mountains has been rescued 17 days later. Gan Yu, an employee at Sichuan's Wandong hydro power plant, was found alive but injured by a local villager. Gan, who is severely short-sighted, had lost his glasses during the quake and struggled to navigate the mountainous terrain. Footage from China's state broadcaster showed a shaken-looking, gaunt Gan confirming his name and gingerly eating a snack offered by rescuers. He was taken to hospital where he is being monitored by medics. And finally, Hollywood's iconic sign is getting a massive paint job in time for its 100th anniversary year. Painting of the 9-letter sign, a world-famous symbol of the US movie industry, began earlier as the perfect color was finally given the sign-off. The Hollywood sign was last painted 10 years ago and needs redoing roughly every decade.
We have swing stages that go up and down each letter. Each of these swing stages had to be brought down here piece by piece. We're on a hillside. It's probably a 45-degree angle. You got loose gravel. It's hard to walk on. So, you know, they had to bring each piece down here piece by piece, each piece of their equipment, assembled it. Then they got to do the whole thing over again when they're going from letter to letter.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel Studios in Lagos.